Hello, and welcome to the CDO Magazine interview series. I'm Amy McNee, SVP of Global Solution Architecture at Informatica. Today, I have the pleasure of talking with Anusha Dandapani, Chief Data and AI Services Officer at the United Nations International Computing Center, or UNICC. So thank you for joining today, Anusha.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you for having over, and thank you to CDO Magazine.
What do you think the impact is going to be
Mm.
on getting sponsorship and buy-in from business stakeholders to help us? Because I don't know if you agree with this or not. I actually be
Mm.
curious in your opinion. I don't think governance can be successful unless you have business stakeholder buy-in. They have
Yeah.
to be part of the process. How do you think AI will help drive more of that buy-in from the
Mm.
business for governance?
I would say what we consider as a problem solving, or in the sense, a use case based approach, is we have come up with a 6 point framework wherein we first articulate the problem statement that we are trying to solve, especially the problem that we want to approach it from a design stage. So we make sure that the problem statement, the ask, is clearly defined, and not only the data that is required for us to build out this AI solution is already qualified, that it is available, which is not, and also the concept and articulation of what are the risks that we should be pre-prepared for, because that kind of helps us set the expectations right, like, from day zero we know that we are jumping into this unknown sort of concept of, like, what would be the outcomes of us applying AI. However, this kind of a problem definition with the problem statement owner, in the sense it could be the stakeholder who will be using the solution perhaps, or it could be the function of the solution, the consumer of the solution. We come together and make sure that the problem statement is defined to the understanding of why we are paying attention to this problem in the organization. Yeah, that kind of helps us go with the right approach, and also to tackle the problem with using the right tool for the problem statement, in the sense, right, like right now the industry or the market is flooded with so many tools in the market, like, but how do you make sure that you're ensuring that you're using the right tool for the right sort of problem or the right use case is core to what we do. Because end of the day, we have come from the evolution of the ERP systems, we have come from the legacy systems, we do carry our tech debt all the way, but our focus has been that we are building a strong foundation in data science and aligned to the data governance and the AI principles that I just spoke about, and also making sure we are continuously learning with these sort of hyperscalers, because as the technologies evolve, it will help us set us up for success only if we go along with them. So this is a journey where there is a lot of feedback that we need to learn from each other. So that's how we see us evolving with implementing AI.
I think it's interesting too. Everything you just said,
Mm.
if and when you and I first met and first talked, that's when you brought up this idea of purpose-driven use cases. And I think if
Mm.
you have a purpose-driven use case and you're not just building for the sake of building, it's easy to identify the tools you need. It's really easy to identify how you're going to measure success. It's easy to identify who your stakeholders are. And I think the good news is that AI is driving outcomes, like business outcomes, or it should be, even if it's just around operational efficiency.
Yeah.
So this can kind of become part of your business stakeholders' day job. So I think going back to that, very first thing we talked about that you'd brought up, this idea of purpose, it's really important to have that because it sort of threads everything together. So,
Yeah.
um, all right. So do you I think you mentioned to AI governance, we have this, data governance, we have AI governance. Is there
Mm-hmm.
really any difference between the two? Or do you think that, the Venn diagram is big enough that we can think about them as the same thing?
Um, I think the AI governance should be anchored in the mandate or the purpose of the organization to start with. Yeah, and also the foundational elements of the principles of including the data governance and making sure that is um, supporting the AI governance is the first starting point. So I wouldn't say it's more of an yin and a yang, yeah, Amy. So I would consider data governance comes first, then comes AI governance.
Okay, good. All right. So if you like for someone who's just starting out in a
Mm-hmm.
career in data and AI, what's one thing they should really pay attention as they're charting out their path? What do you think you would tell them to do?
I would suggest someone who is looking to get the hands in data and AI is to build a strong foundation in data science, getting an understanding of how to use data, what are the things that you need to understand in training an AI model, and also a persona based learning in the sense that not everybody needs to be a data and an AI practitioner, right? Like, not all practitioners need to also sort of be the consumer of AI. So there is this concept of whether you're going to be a consumer of a AI based solution, which is, are you the decision maker of using AI powered solutions in your workflow, or are you going to be a practitioner? So clarifying your function within how you are going to leverage AI, that is a good starting point for someone who's new to the field. And I always recommend someone focusing on becoming a consumer or a user of AI, because the more you continuously use, you kind of learn how these technologies usually evolve, and it will also help you understand how do you adapt yourself to solutions of that sort, right? Like, that will also help you set you up for success. And not everybody needs to be a practitioner. Everybody doesn't have to know how to train an AI model, but you should be pragmatic enough or sort of smart enough to understand, hey, the AI model is giving you an opportunity to also bring value in your organization, and then also it's also helping you in your decision making process. So AI is empowering us. It's not going to take over the human in the loop. Yeah, the human here is the value proposition that AI is supporting. Yeah.
I think a lot of people are going to be very relieved that you said that. But I do think it actually opens up a lot of opportunities because the knowledge of the business or the knowledge of the market that you're serving or whatever that is, or the organization you represent, an organization, not necessarily a business.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's that that understanding is actually even more important and goes
Yeah.
again back to one of the first things you said, which was understand your domain, right?
Yeah.
Like understanding your domain. And the people that do that, I think are
Mm-hmm.
going to be invaluable to driving good AI and AI that's not putting your organization at risk. So really
Yes.
understanding that. I think it's really important. Um, so time always flies on these interviews. So I wanted to ask you one thing before
Mm-hmm.
we go. The CDO role is a really interesting one. It continues to evolve. I think it's different. It's implemented differently in different
Yeah.
organizations. Um, when you any last thoughts or advice that you would give someone who's leading a strategic data and AI practice, a group inside of an organization,
Mm-hmm.
what do they need to be successful in this kind of a role?
I would say that there are three things that happens to be the landscape of the CDO or the CDAIO or CDA. I would say CDA. Yeah, it's the Chief
See,
Data
I
and
said it's
AI
evolving.
Officer or the Data and Analytics Officer, or perhaps just the CDO itself, right? Um, I think this landscape presents a lot of opportunity to the organization. Um, as a CDO, making sure that you're able to map the pain points and the ambitions of your organization, that is a good starting point. Uh, um, how can we leverage uh, data in the sense that, like, how do you want to facilitate development and the use of the data within the organization, and making sure that you are the mediator for the standards, safety, and making sure the risk management and the data management. And how do you want to make sure that the data that you are um, the owner of, how does it become interoperable within your organization? So getting this sense of your organization landscape and making sure that the list of things that you're prioritizing it for the um, organization at the organization level. So these are some of the sort of challenges that I do see, and I see this as an opportunity landscape for the CDOs in this sector right now.
Well, thank you. And Anusha, I can't thank you enough for joining me today and sharing your insights and some of your experience with the audience. So please visit cdomagazine.tech for additional interviews and have a great day.